Before Mystery Inc. is even formed, the 5 members are still 5 complete strangers to one another. Shaggy is just a goofy young man who is always being bullied by other people. Fred's friend keeps teasing Shaggy all the time, which makes Fred feel embarrassed. Velma is a girl with a deep passion for science because she is constantly obsessed with it. Daphne is taking on the lead role for the upcoming school play. These 4 people with 4 completely different personalities all attend Coolsville High School together. One day, while Shaggy is trying to open a locker, he ends up falling face first into a trash can, which sends him directly to the principal's office. Principal Deedle, who often sees Shaggy being bullied, believes that he probably does not have any friends, so he suggests that Shaggy could start collecting stamps as a way to find new friends who share the same passion, making it easier to talk and connect with one another. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo is still just a stray dog with nobody wanting to adopt him. Even though Scooby-Doo tries everything from performing circus tricks to handing out flyers, nobody gives him a single glance. Suddenly, a little girl wants a dog and sets her eyes on Scooby-Doo. She immediately acts all cute and whiny so her father will agree to get him for her. Scooby-Doo, in his overwhelming excitement, jumps straight toward the father without realizing that this action will make the man change his mind. As a result, when the festival ends, Scooby-Doo has to return to the cage because there is still no one who wants to adopt him. Scooby-Doo does not expect that on the way back the vehicle accidentally jolts the cage and throws him out onto the ground. That night, Shaggy cannot sleep, so he sits and looks at the moon, wishing he could have some new friends. At the same time, Scooby-Doo is wandering the streets with no idea where to go. Suddenly, the sky turns dark with heavy clouds. A lightning bolt strikes 2 gravestones, waking up 2 ghosts. Scooby-Doo is so terrified that he runs straight ahead without knowing that he is about to crash right into Shaggy's room. The moment they see each other, both of them scream loudly, then they quickly calm down. Scooby-Doo explains that there are 2 ghosts out there, so he came in here to hide. Shaggy now notices that Scooby-Doo's collar has no name tag, which means he is a stray dog. Shaggy decides to adopt him. Neither Scooby-Doo nor Shaggy expects that they share so many interests. They both love eating and enjoy being tickled. They even enjoy catching flying discs with their mouths. The next day, Shaggy brings Scooby-Doo to school. He doesn't forget to disguise his new friend to avoid attention, but he forgets that he is usually bullied here. Scooby-Doo refuses to let his benefactor keep suffering and charges forward to teach the bully a lesson. Fred, Velma, and Daphne also rush forward when the bully accidentally bumps into all 3 of them. The bus driver loses focus and crashes into a utility pole, making it fall directly onto Vice Principal Grimes' brand new car. Vice Principal Grimes cannot control his anger, and he demands to know who will take responsibility. Shaggy, Velma, Fred, and Daphne are given 6 weeks of detention. Even though the sports season, the science fair, and the school play are all coming soon, Vice Principal Grimes insists that none of them will be spared. Later, when everyone turns to reading books, they accidentally discover that each one of them enjoys mystery stories. This makes them begin to open up to one another. Meanwhile, Scooby-Doo is chained outside on the lawn when suddenly a storm approaches. He is so scared that he burrows into the ground to hide. At the same time, the 4 students witness something strange. The temperature drops so low that it is visible to the naked eye. Inside a closed room, there are gusts of wind strong enough to blow books into the air. Right when the electrical devices explode, the wind suddenly stops. In its place appear the 2 ghosts that Scooby-Doo had run away from earlier. Shaggy, Velma, Fred, and Daphne quickly run to the hall to seek help, but everyone there is too busy worrying about their own safety. The 2 ghosts immediately shut the doors to allow their master to appear. A phantom suddenly manifests and warns the students of Coolsville High School to leave this place immediately. If they do not, they should not blame him for being cruel. After hearing the ghost's threat, the students run out of the school as fast as they can. Principal Deedle, afraid that the students will be in danger, so he cancels all classes for tomorrow, but Vice Principal Grimes believes that this might just be a prank and instantly blames Shaggy, Velma, Fred, and Daphne. As a result, the 4 of them are no longer in detention. Instead, they are now suspended from school. Now Shaggy suddenly remembers that last night Scooby-Doo told him about 2 ghosts, so as soon as the night falls, Shaggy, Velma, Fred, and Daphne follow Scooby-Doo's directions to search for evidence that will prove they are completely innocent. It does not take long before Scooby-Doo leads the 4 of them right to a graveyard. Velma notices that these graves were built back in the days when the historic flood of Coolsville happened. She explains that right before the new century began, the Erie Dam collapsed and flooded the entire town of Coolsville. The destruction wiped out everything, and later a completely new town was built directly on top of the old one. At that moment, Scooby-Doo manages to find 2 graves belonging to the 2 ghosts. The names are Prudence Prufrock and Ezekiel Gallows. Velma feels that she has heard those names somewhere before, but there are 3 ghosts in total and only 2 graves here, which makes everyone realize that this could be a mystery worth uncovering. The next day they decide to gather at Shaggy's house because all of them are still suspended from school. But before their guests arrive, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy have to clean up the giant mess inside the house. Velma says she spent the entire night researching the names carved into the tombstones. She has found out that Prudence Prufrock and Ezekiel Gallows were the 2 founders of Coolsville High School, but before they could open the school, the flood destroyed everything they had worked for. Fred points out that the next clue they should investigate is at Coolsville High School itself. Since they are suspended, they will have to go there at night. Velma keeps acting silly along the way while the others only need to walk quietly. Then they return to the spot where the ghost appeared and find a new clue. While Velma is analyzing what it could be, one of the ghosts inside a mannequin body suddenly appears right beside her. The other ghost blocks their way out. Fred quickly lures one ghost to chase after him so the others can escape. As a football player, he easily toys with and defeats the ghost. But Fred does not know about its ability to control objects, and soon it ties him up. Just as the ghost is about to rush at him, Fred manages to break free in time, forcing the spirit to leave the mannequin's body. Meanwhile, Velma and Daphne hide inside the costume room. When the ghost is about to find them, they quickly disguise themselves as a horse. On the other side, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are running away and accidentally enter the kitchen. They think about filling their stomachs with some food when suddenly one of the ghosts shows up, making them run straight into the freezer. Meanwhile, Velma, Fred, and Daphne have just escaped the school when they see 2 ghosts warning them. The next day, Vice Principal Grimes hears cries for help and spots Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. Velma, Fred, and Daphne return to the school and find that it has been vandalized, but Velma also discovers that the strange green substance from yesterday is actually a highly flammable mixture and is the cause of the explosion that created the blue smoke for the ghost's appearance. This means there is someone secretly working together with the 2 ghosts. Just as Velma, Fred, and Daphne want to investigate further, Vice Principal Grimes shows up with Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. Even though Shaggy explains that everything is just a misunderstanding and that the 2 ghosts are the ones who destroyed the school, Vice Principal Grimes does not believe it. Instead, he says Shaggy, Velma, Fred, and Daphne will be upgraded from being suspended to being expelled immediately. Now Shaggy remembers that a few days ago he saw the janitor saying he did not want to work anymore. And he also heard that the librarian had her salary cut, so they already have 2 possible suspects. But they still have one problem to solve, which is figuring out how to sneak into the school. Thanks to her amazing makeup skills, Daphne manages to transform the group into a bunch of stylish teenagers. Scooby-Doo and Shaggy are disguised as 2 trash cans so they can move around without attracting attention. Soon they follow the janitor into a secret room. Inside, Fred and Daphne are surprised to find that the janitor's secret dream is to become a dancing star. Luckily, they leave before being spotted. Meanwhile, Velma is secretly following the librarian. She sees suspicious behavior that makes her want to tail the woman, and she accidentally discovers that the librarian has secretly applied for a job somewhere else. Later, they all return to Shaggy's house and Velma announces exciting news that she has found a book about supernatural phenomena. When they read the chapter about summoning ghosts, they see that it has been torn out and the last person to borrow the book is Vice Principal Grimes. Velma quickly finds out that Vice Principal Grimes lives on top of Coolsville Hill. If they travel there by bicycle, it will take them the entire night. Suddenly, Shaggy pulls out a driver's license, which shocks everyone. It turns out that he repeated the same school year for 2 years simply because he spent too much time eating and forgot to take the test. After that, the entire group moves together to Daphne's house in order to pick up a car. When they step inside and see a collection of vehicles that is so large and impressive, every single one of them silently assumes that Daphne will be given a luxurious supercar. What they do not expect at all is that she actually receives only a simple van. Now Velma, Fred, and Daphne begin to truly get to know each other, realizing that the person in front of them is not exactly the image they had built in their minds. Daphne is not merely a princess with a massive fortune inherited from her father, but rather a young woman who knows how to lend a hand to people around her. Velma is not entirely the stereotype of a bookworm because she also notices the little details happening in the world beyond the pages. Fred, Scooby-Doo, and Shaggy, however, turn out to be exactly what others have always thought of them. Soon they arrive at the home of Vice Principal Grimes. They find the door unlocked, so they walk in as if the place belongs to them, but accept a number of models and displays related to the Second World War. They do not find anything that seems useful or new. They decide to split up. Velma, Fred, and Daphne search upstairs while Scooby-Doo and Shaggy explore the rooms downstairs. What they do not realize is that they are not alone in the house. Two ghosts quickly possess two model airplanes in order to attack Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. After a while of playing with airplanes, the ghosts switch to controlling a model tank, forcing Scooby-Doo and Shaggy to run upstairs in panic. At the same time, Velma, Fred, and Daphne manage to uncover a clue: the missing chapter about summoning ghosts that has been torn from the book. Velma now understands the goal of Vice Principal Grimes is the time capsule buried by Prudence Prufrock and Ezekiel Gallows. However, the two never got the chance to bury it because the Great Flood swept everything away, which means the time capsule still lies hidden somewhere in the old school. The moment Velma, Fred, and Daphne finish solving this piece of the mystery, Shaggy appears with two ghost-controlled airplanes chasing right behind him. The group has no choice but to run outside, yet they do not expect the Spectre to be waiting. It turns out that everything has been part of his plan. When they regain consciousness, they find themselves inside Coolsville High School, standing next to a massive and gaping hole. The Spectre congratulates them for solving the mystery because everything he has done is for the time capsule. He demands that they retrieve it for him from down below, or else their friend will be in serious danger. He also reveals that their earlier suspicion was wrong because Vice Principal Grimes is already his prisoner. Scooby-Doo is Shaggy's closest friend, so Shaggy immediately volunteers to go down into the darkness. The others follow because none of them can abandon the four-legged companion. They are not prepared for how dark and ominous the old school is. Fred realizes that even if they do find the time capsule, there is no guarantee the Spectre will let them go. So he comes up with a counterplan, which is designing a trap. Shaggy and Fred pretend to find the capsule to lure the Spectre closer. Then they make up a story about how heavy it is, saying they need more help to lift it. The moment the Spectre climbs down, Fred begins the trap while Velma snatches the book. Then Shaggy moves to close the door and lock the Spectre inside. But suddenly water bursts and carrying the real time capsule with it. Hearing the commotion, the two ghosts fly down to help their master. Forcing everyone to run, they dash forward without noticing the thick webs hanging in the air. At least they are still safe for the moment, so Shaggy flips through the book looking for the ghost banishing incantation. Unfortunately, he accidentally reads the ghost summoning spell instead, causing countless other spirits to rise and spread all over Coolsville. Then they eventually find an exit, but the Spectre suddenly blocks their path. This time Shaggy reads a different spell and it works. The ghosts return to their resting place. However, the Spectre still manages to turn the situation to his advantage. Surprise after surprise before the appearance of Scooby-Doo, who helps them secure the bomb and defeat the Spectre. Then they remove his mask and see the face of Principal Deedle. It turns out that inside the time capsule, there is a misprinted postage stamp, considered the most valuable misprinted stamp in the entire world. The next day, Vice Principal Grimes replaces Principal Deedle's position and sincerely apologizes to Shaggy, Velma, Fred, and Daphne, and that is also the moment when a mysterious organization is formed. 5 teenagers united by their love for exploring strange and hidden mysteries.